We have a master image that has Windows 7 Professional, Office 2007, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and OneNote. So that means 2 licenses. They cost us $6 a piece. That's really, really cheap.
And Windows 7, is that what you said?
Windows 7 Professional.
Professional, yeah.
A desktop, keyboard, mouse, 2 power cords, and a CRT monitor. Who can guess what we charge for that?
300. No, 200.
If you read the brochure, it's $40. The price has to be accessible to the person who's never had technology before. And our partner agencies and some of your nonprofits use our technology. That's a smart use of donated money. If you've got a tiny tech budget, how much technology can you buy retail versus what can you get from us?
So everybody pays 40?
Everybody pays 40 for a desktop. Laptops are 80.
Mm-hmm.
It is a consistent price across the board. Now, we sell only to nonprofits. An individual can't walk in here and get a computer. They need to be associated with a nonprofit. A lot of times what we'll do if we get an errant phone call to come in here and say, I need a computer, it's like, have you been to any social services today? Well, I was down at the clinic. Which one? I was at Wake Urban Ministries. I was having a pap smear. And you've got a really low voice, you got to ask again. And it's like, fine. And we would call, confirm that they're a patient. That's all the information you want to know, and that's all that we need.
And then they come in here?
No, they work through a representative in the nonprofit.
Okay.
For example, First in Families is a nonprofit that they kind of put together. They work with families who have developmentally disabled children or families. First in Families kind of puts the glue that holds the world together. They find ways to make life easier, and one of those things would be computers for people that need it, so they come to us. I deal with one person at that nonprofit. They deal with their clients and with their customers. They either get the money directly from them or their organization pays me. So it's me and it's them, and so it makes for a very smooth operation. On the hands-on side here, once 5 hard drives have been imaged, they get passed up and down the line. The hard drives are put in, they get powered up. We do what's called an out-of-box experience. Now, Windows 7 Professional is the operating system that we use. Less than a year ago, we used XP. Mm-hmm. You had to be kind of a techie in order to put the product key in to make the system work. We had a volunteer who put our image together, and he created the out-of-box experience. So when you are managing this equipment, when you put it in and turn it on and test it and make sure it works, you can do anything you want to with it. You hit one key, one icon on the keyboard on the desktop, and it seals off everything and it shuts down. The very next time that machine is powered up, it'll ask you, what do you want to call a computer? What password do you want? What's the product key? Enter it here. I mean, it's as though you bought it and took it out of the box. And we set it up that way. And a feedback, that kind of impact, we have to learn how to put that out there to donors and to the public. We're doing more than just refurbishing computers here. We have volunteers. You can come as an individual on Friday from 1 to 4. I have 3 requirements. Everybody meets the first one. Wear closed-toed shoes, because gravity still works here. Number 2, be willing to volunteer. Attitude is everything. And number 3, have the ability to take direction, because you're probably going to learn something very new you've never done before, and you're going to be taught by another volunteer. If you think about it, those 3 requirements will fit any volunteer situation. When you come and you volunteer, if you volunteer more than once, like Kirby has, you've done how many different things? You didn't do the same thing every time, did you? You will do everything that I do, and I will do everything you do. You will not do anything that I would not do. But from blowing computers to loading software, sweeping the floor, making coffee, making presentations to nonprofits. And that is something I got taught by a middle school class of children. They came to volunteer and do community service. And I overheard one say to the other, where do these computers go? Well, I don't know. We're just doing what we're told. Ooh, bad situation there. So we make it a point to have a nonprofit pick up their order when the volunteers are here. And I've yet to meet an executive director who didn't want to tell their story to a captive audience. So that way the volunteers have an idea of what they're doing and the impact it's making on the community. Who comes? We have a minimum age of 12. We have yet to find an upper age. We have a lot of unemployed people. A lot of those unemployed people are working on their, what I call Microsoft alphabet. They're going to school. So they get hands-on experience here. So we have kind of an informal relationship with some of the Microsoft academies here. We're all about networking, because networking is how you get your next job. So if a couple of volunteers look like they're slacking off in the corner of a busy chatting, they're talking about who's hiring, what's the best way to get to a location for an interview, etc. So we're all good with that. And if you put your time in, our bench computer, we finally have some software that was created here. We have now created it such that you can keep track of your hours. Everybody here have a LinkedIn profile? There's a volunteer option on it. You can keep track of your volunteer hours. Several people have called me, hey Al, how many hours do I have? So we're for that. The other side over here is a classroom, and it came out of simply the real estate.
I get to be right up front and center because this is interesting. You're doing a better job than I do.
We'll describe this and then go easy so people will help. When we moved from 1,200 square feet to 7,000, I mean, it was like moving into a Taj Mahal out of your mama's closet.
Yeah.
And this just screamed classroom. Any nonprofit can reserve and use United Way's conference rooms. Right now, you can't use one of them because campaign associates are there raising money. Sometimes nonprofits would have a meeting and say, can you get us some laptops? We need to make a presentation. Well, Joe and I would scramble because we were either short on laptops or we're not set up. So when we came here, we said, why not? And RTI made this space available. The furniture actually came from Nortel. I probably sat in one of these cubes 20 years ago. And they made this possible. What took me 6 months was to pull out enough laptops from those that were going out to nonprofits so that I could set this up. The wireless environment here allows for all the laptops to be used at one time. We don't teach anything here. This space is available to any nonprofit. They bring the curriculum, they bring the syllabus. We got bathrooms, we got a roof, we got a kitchen. Come use the space. You know, it's yours to use as you need.
And you do it for free, or do they pay a fee?
We ask for a donation that would be equivalent to a desktop or a laptop, which would be either $40 or $80. And guess what? That's tax deductible. Not that the nonprofit that's using it would actually take advantage of that. They'll probably buy a couple before they leave for that evening. But very simply put, this is what we do here. We not only refurbish, but we make an impact for volunteers. We provide an opportunity for other corporations to come and volunteer. By the way, the dinosaur over the Live United wall, Part2 software, they left their mark. They came and volunteered. And that's something else that we put in here for the community. When we work with the Latino community, it's wonderful because it's a party. They bring their family and they bring their niños. So there is chalk on the table. We expect you all to sign the wall tonight. Somebody write up NC Tech for Good up there. We can have a group photo. That's what that's for. It's just some hands-on involvement. And for right now, I'll just shut up. Let's go eat. I'm sure you'll have some questions later on that you can ask and I can answer.
Good.
You want to walk down through the classroom a little bit and get a little bit of that on there?
All right. You're keeping me from my pizza.
You do. You demonstrate. Laptops.
Projector. That's a lot.